Hey, I think it went live. I think it went live. Yeah, I don't know why we shouldn't. I always gotta check my audio. If you're here for the training and you were watching this live, I will try to post some time for where you should skip to for where the Active Directory starts. Also, I might chop this up and re-upload it as a video. Although this is like the intent is to do a training session. I still wanna chat. Talk about regular stuff before we get straight into the training. You know what I'm saying? You gotta warm it up first. You can't just go in there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You gotta warm it up before you put it in drive. But anyways, it's Tuesday, the 24th. How's your work day? What you guys do for work? I know my channel is very small, so this stream probably nobody will watch it. Probably nobody will join the live as well, but that's okay. Somebody will see this in the future, maybe. So, but that's good. Man, today was an interesting day at work. I've been fighting with this thing called programmatic access. Programmatic? Programmatic? Anyways, it's this thing in Outlook that interacts with automations. Like when you're trying to program or trying to retrieve, send email through Outlook, an automation. And that thing has been killing me, man. Like I spent a whole day trying to figure it out. And guess what? I the first day I didn't figure it out, and I think I got it though today. The thing is, like I think that I get it because it works, and then a few days later it reverts back. So in Outlook it has this like setting where like the when you I'm using this I'm using a RPA, which is robotic process automation, and it's accessing Outlook, and when it's accessing Outlook, Outlook is detecting it as a virus, and I have to bypass that with by going to settings and going to programmatic access and saying, ignore it. But there are ways to permanently make that stop. And every time I edit that setting in Reg edit, local group policy, it seems to be very stubborn. It's not going back. It's staying. So, but today I was like, I had enough. So I dedicated almost the whole day just to troubleshoot that thing. But it seemed like I got it today, though. It seemed like I got it today. Yeah, man. Like the whole tech stack, sometimes it can beat it can slap you up when you think you get it, or you think like, oh, I finally figured it out. No sir, no sir, you haven't figured nothing out. So that's how my day went. That's the other thing that I'm learning right now is RPA, which is another form of automation of automating tasks. Whereas where you have everybody use PowerShell, which I use PowerShell at work. Of course, I use I don't know Python. Like if I'm using Python, you best believe it's ChatGPT. So I don't know Python. I'm trying to learn it though. But I know PowerShell. I've automated a lot of tasks with PowerShell actually. But this RPA, how it works is where you need to interact with a GUI, because PowerShell is mostly backend, right? Like you can work with it on the back end and do automate tasks on the back end, but you can't really interact with a GUI like a user interface for real. So what the RPA does is there are different programs out there. There are different programs out there to do it. But what RPA does is it actually clicks on things. It can click on thing, and it also has the RPA back end. Like I mean, like PowerShell back end. You can use PowerShell to script things. You can do a lot of stuff with it. So that's what I'm trying to learn, just to be more proficient with automation. That's a big focus of mine, like career wise as well. It's just automating things, making things easier, saving hours, because that's the easiest way to be visible, in my opinion. Also professionally, of course, there's other ways. Like if you stop a ransomware attack, you better believe the employer is going to notice. But like immediate result, you cannot beat automation, because they will see the immediate saving, and you can show them like, hey, this person was taking X amount of time to do this task, and guess what? I wrote a PowerShell script that is doing it in 15 seconds or less, or 30 seconds, or 1 minute, comparison to hours and hours of like painstaking work. So automation to me is a way to be visible at work. So I think the other thing I want to do, this is like a sort of like a preview, I guess, is on Thursdays, I want to start a new thing. I should check if the audio is good, honestly. I think the other thing I want to do, this is like a sort of like a preview, I guess, is damn, I can hear the fan on the background. Like it's a lot of white noise going on. But one of the things that I want to do is on Thursdays, I want to start a new thing. I want to start a thing where let me put a filter on this. Let me cap the top. Put a filter on the high end. Maybe it'll reduce some of the noise, because there's nothing I can do about that. My Sony camera, it has this feat. I don't know if it's a feature or a bug. Sony, please help me out, man. Like where it freeze, like it will overheat, so much when you live stream that it freezes, and then the live stream I have to wait till the camera cool down. Like I don't have time for that. You can't do that. And I like to live stream. As you can see, I like to talk a lot. So that's not possible. But anyways, yeah, the thing that I want to do is on Thursdays, I want to start this thing called Networking Thursdays. One thing that I realized is like I don't follow many people online, like but I do follow Louis Rossman. Like, I watch YouTube. Of course I do. I love YouTube. I can't get away from the freaking app, actually. But he said something that I thought was profound, I'll say. When he talks about, like, he's not an influencer. He's just trying to clean up his corner of the world, right? And I thought about it. I was like, there's a lot of things that I wish I had when I was coming up as a like little tech as a technician, somebody who's trying to get into IT. And I kept telling myself, why am I wishing for it when I can build it? When I have the knowledge to where I could probably make it easier for the next person coming up. Like, why not do that? So that's my plan. Um, that's my plan. On Thursdays I want to do this. I know at first it's going to be very boring, because nobody's going to join it for real. I don't expect no one to be in there in the first few tries, but I know eventually um, if it does take off, it will be of great value. On Thursdays, I want to do this thing, and I want to call it hour of networking. I'm not sure quite yet on the topics or the focus of it, but I know it's I wanna network with people, invite them on a live stream through Discord, and the Discord will be geared towards professionals or people. I already have the Discord name. It's called the Ground Floor, and the whole idea or concept is for people to connect. That's one of the things that I lacked um, when I was coming up. Like I thought my skills alone was going to get me in the door or was going to get me promoted or etc. etc. Unless you're working for like a very big company, or especially if you have no degree and you're just bootstrapping it, it's gonna be very hard without connections. And that's one of the things that I want to bring to my community or bring to my little corner of the world is connections. Because, somebody could be hiring and they're looking for quality people to work for them. And I want to have a space where people, maybe a hiring manager could be watching this, a teacher, a student could be watching this in another part of the world. And they are looking for help desk services. They're looking for administrator services or like a quick project, you know? That's the ambition, that's the goal. The reality might be a little more grim because the stigma, is still that IT folks are very unsocial, but that's not always true. Or like pompous or arrogant based on what they know. And I don't want to build that community. I don't want to have that attitude in the space, right? Like I think everybody should be able to like fail, even privately or publicly. Like trying to fail, trying to test things, and even in the community, if you don't know something, to have the space be so open to where you can ask a question, and people don't think you're stupid. Or if you're trying to build a business or you're trying to build something in the tech world where you can share idea, bounce ideas of feedback off of people. But the main concept is to network. I mean, of course, it's not gonna be like a LinkedIn, but if you do have a LinkedIn, you can share your LinkedIn in there. Um, I don't know. That's the plan for right now, at least. That's what I'm thinking. So we'll see how that goes. I need to see if this audio. I mean, of course, okay. I think the noise is definitely improved. So yeah, that's the fan noise. I can't really do much about that for right now because the freaking camera is gonna overheat like crazy. Anyways, if you're watching this, you know what I'm saying, let me know what you think. Like if you watch this back, is that something you would be interested in? Like networking with other people? Even if you do currently have a job, like you never know. In the future, like a raise could be coming from somebody within the community. Like you wouldn't believe it how many people hire people that they know or people that they have engaged with. And if those people are in the same industry as you or in the same realm as you, it's very like and you never know where those people are watching from. Like you never know. So that's the goal. I personally don't currently need or looking for a job at the moment, but you never know. I as well could possibly find a job through that community. Um, but yeah, I guess the concept is uh, cleaning or doing your your part in cleaning your little part of the world. But anyways, today we'll be discussing. I don't know how much time we have. Because it's already like 10 o'clock. I intended on starting earlier, but life does its thing. But today I intend on covering Active Directory. I have some notes on things that I would like to cover on this screen right here, just to keep me in pace, because I my brain just want to talk. But today we'll be covering Active Directory, probably mostly users and computers the users and computers module mostly, and some Entra. We'll cover some Entra, um, and I want to go as in depth as possible. I I know there's so much you can do. You can I can go through the process of installing it completely, but I already have it installed, so I'm not going to do that again. I will show you how you can go about installing it. But instead of doing that, let's get started. Okay. Wherever you work, or they will have some form of directory management. Because the cloud is growing so big, we are moving away from having on-prem Active Directory or user and computer management, which is a database where we manage users or we keep records. That's all that Active Directory is. It's just a database where we manage these records. Now, you've probably heard of Entra, Microsoft Entra. You've probably heard of Microsoft Entra, which is just another modern version of which is a modern version of what Active Directory is. It's just a directory management on the cloud. While most people are moving to the cloud, for the most part, a lot of businesses are lagging. They're behind. So you will likely deal with Active Directory still, but it will likely be um, in a hybrid environment. So let that be up. Let me log in real quick. It'll likely be in a hybrid environment, meaning that you will have Entra and you have Active Directory syncing back and forth with each other, or just syncing one way. Um, However, your organization set it up, because it really differs from organization to organization on how they have it or how they set it up. So, um, okay. Oh, yeah. As you can probably see, let's just do a little side by side really quickly. I should have really done this on a test environment, but whatever. Um, as you probably could see, it's like the same concept and the same idea. You have users, you have groups, devices, and there's a little more on the Entra side in comparison to Active Directory that's on the right here. I hope this is really clear. Let's start with Active Directory. I want to make sure that the words are clear and can be very easily seen. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so to install Active Directory, I should refer to my notes instead of just going off the top. Okay. What is Active Directory? It's a platform, or it's a data. Like I kept saying, it's a database of users, computers that host, access, or manage the organization. It's usually hosted on a DC, as you can see, or domain controller at your organization. You could have multiple domain controller, which we will also discuss. I do not currently have one set up because this is just my home, but you can have many sites where intra sites, like you can have multiple DCs where your Active Directory is being replicated to. In case of an attack on that server is compromised, or any host of things, the server fails, where you can still continue to function even if that server fails, because the whole environment is being replicated over, right? So You will not, if you are watching this video, you likely will not be doing this because you are probably going to be in the help desk level or beginning level of your career. But doesn't mean you can't test this on your own, right? You can still test this and play around with it at your house. But to install this, once you have a server up and running, you have Server Manager. If you already have it installed, if you go to Tools and Server Manager, you will see the Active Directory services here. Obviously, it says Active Directory. But if you don't have it, all you have to do is go to Manage, Add Rules and Features, and next, 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 next. What we're looking for is role-based or feature-based installations. And whatever server you're trying to install it on, obviously mine is this one. Don't worry about this IP address. And you can scroll through this, obviously, and look for what service you're trying to install and install it. Mine, of course, is already installed. The Active Directory domain services is what we're looking for. You can. The big things are the roles. The features are nice to have. You don't always need the features, but that's where knowing what you're looking for comes in. Yeah. Anyways, and once you click next, install, it'll just go by itself because it's that easy. And once you go to tools, Active Directory will load up. It will start showing Active Directory here. And all you do is open tools. And for right now, we're going to explore Active Directory users and computers. And we'll explore the other ones in a few. And here it is. This, I like to compare Active Directory users and computers to, back in the days where your grandma and grandpa used to have these pocketbooks that they write their peoples that they need to call. They write their names. They put I need to call Sally, blah blah blah, and her phone number is blah blah blah. A little note. What they call that? A pocketbook? I don't remember. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Like a yellow page, kind of sort of thing, right? But anyways, the concepts for Active Directory is basically where your organization would manage all of its things, all of the resources, all of the computers, all of the users, all of the groups will be accessible in Active Directory. I went ahead of time and created some groups and users because that's going to make our life a lot easier for this presentation. So when you are looking on the left side here, let me make sure I'm staying on task. All right. When you are looking on the left side over here, you will notice these little folders. These folders are called OU, or organizational units. And as that, I don't know if I need to explain that. They host other things. Like each organizational unit you can add specific policies to them, which is where group policy comes in. Group policy is another concept that we need to explore. But wherever you are working right now, you probably heard of group policies, even if you're not in the IT team. Your group, your team has different access levels or different things that they can do, or different things that you can do, or the entire company can do on these computers. Like when you open, for example, Edge, and it automatically loads your company's website, or on the background of your company's computer, the desktop is automatically their logo. That's group policy. So each one of these group policies, for example, could be linked to the workstation OU. And whatever policy that you attach to the workstation, it will feed down to whatever is underneath it. So also the other concept is the concept of forest. So the forest is a top level logical container in Active Directory. And you have trees as well, which I wish I could. I wish I could write. I wish I could write what it looks like, the difference between a forest and a tree, because that'll make it a lot easier. But I don't think we need to go that in depth for now. But let's explore more on the OU point. You also likely would not be creating OUs when you first started, when you're first starting, but you should understand what an OU is and how it works. So, if you click anywhere on here or anywhere on like the main domain of your organization, you will be able to do new, and you'll be able to do organizational unit. And you would want to click protect container from accidental deletion. And you can call it anything like test learning, something, or whatever you want to call it, right? Okay. And then it will create an OU for you. And within this OU, you can have different things. Like you can have another OU in here. Test learning. Let's say you wanted to change this and you want to have different categories of test learning. You can have YouTube. Maybe I want to have Instagram, so forth and so on. And you want to categorize each people into a different, each object into a different OU. And you want to give them each a different rule. Like if I want to have a different rule running or different policy running YouTube and a different policy running Instagram, that's how you would organize it. And it's always advised to, like, for security purposes, categorize everything into groups and into OU. Like break it down into groups, into OUs. So for most companies, you'll definitely see another OU that is, again, reflecting the company name. Some companies have multiple different domains, and these will still be here. And that could be very messy. Like when you start working with companies that have multiple domains or child domains. Like for example, it could be I don't know, youtube.unibyte.com or instagram.unibyte.com, like a child domain. Or it could be something completely different, like just byte.com. And it'll all be listed here underneath here. But like I was saying, anyways, and each of these, OUs could have a whole bunch of different things underneath. And it's always, it's the best idea, best practice to have everything in groups, organized in groups. Let's go here and create a group. Let's say within the YouTube OU, I want to have, let's say, a group of managers. Like, let's just call it YouTube managers. And of course, for right now, we want to do global and security because we don't have that many domains, and whatnot. So just hit OK. And groups make it very easy to manage people. Very easy to manage, like, a lot of people together and share access with them without having to give it to each person separately. And it's also best practice to organize everyone into groups. And also, you would probably want to have an Instagram manager. Let's just do new group Insta manager. You can also have like Insta, just for examples, follower. And in the same breath, we can have the same thing. Group YouTube follower. So let's go ahead and create some followers. So the other thing you can do in here, of course, it's creating the actual users themselves, like within each OU. Like, of course, within here in mine, you can see that I have a OU for the users themselves, broken down into different type of users. Like service accounts, you would wanna treat service accounts differently than you would treat a regular user. A service account is an account that is there specifically to do a service. I don't know. I don't know why I was trying to break that down any further. Like it doesn't go any further, big fella. That's it. That's the only place that it goes. Like it doesn't go any further than that. Um, yeah. So it usually runs tasks in the background, and it has administrative access. You don't want the password to be changing all the time. You can change the password once a year or something like that, but you don't want the password to always be changing. And that's a service account. So you would want to treat service accounts and then their different OUs and treat them differently or treat them separately. Um, Anyways, like you can see here, I have a service account for Proxmox, and you also want to list that account. Get in the habit. If even if your company is not doing this or they're not following the best practice, when you get into that organization or you are moving up and start thinking in the sysadmin realm, you want to start standardizing things. That's a way for you to make your job easier and for your manager, if they care, to notice that. Like you start listing things or naming things in a standardized form. Like all service account could be SVC or it could be service underscore whatever service is doing, right? You want to have everything in groups, even if it's two people. Even if you are creating a SharePoint group for a new SharePoint site, and it's two people in there, you want to have a group to manage that. And if the users are leaving or you want to add new people, it makes it very easy for you to just go to Active Directory and drag the people in there instead of going to SharePoint admin, going to the site, um, logging in as an admin in SharePoint. Hopefully, you have different um, access level accounts. Go to that account, find that site, add that person, so forth and so on. This makes it very easy. It makes it easier to manage people when you manage people with groups. Hopefully that makes sense. But anyways, like I was saying, as you can see, I have different levels of accounts because you could have admin accounts, like as in here as well. Like I have different level of admins. Like regular users, I'll just put them here. That's me. Say hello. Hi. This is just a test environment anyways. This is not like active or connected to anything. Um, yeah, but I can have all my users here. Anyone who's an admin, I can have here because they will need different access levels, different policies would apply to them. Anyone who is a sysadmin would have different levels. Your programming team would have different levels. Your help desk will have different levels, and anyone who is domain admin, which is sometimes limited amount of users or admins. You could be a sysadmin and still not have domain admin levels or domain admin credentials. So you would want to separate that. But anyways, let's go on and creating a user. So here you do the same thing. It's all right clicks and right click. I don't know if you watch South Park. That's what I was just watching on the background. I don't know if you can see it. The episode about Warcraft, World of Warcraft, and and when they were on that hill and they were like, charge, ready, set, right click. Yeah. Anyways, as you can see, I'm enjoying that a little bit too much. But anyways, um, let's say we hired um, Joe Mason to be a YouTube manager. We hired Joe Mason to be a manager. Um, Also, the other thing is when you are creating a user logon, for example, Joe is a very popular name. You wouldn't want to have the user logon name to be just Joe, because what if in the future you get Joe Smith, you get Joe Jack, Joe whatever the heck, right? You do not want to have just Joe. Most companies follow a standard and they keep it. Like it could be J Mason. And if you have just so happen to have somebody with the same last name and the same first initial, what they would do is J.O. Mason. Just pick the next letter. The odds of somebody sharing those same, it's very, very low. Or what they follow is Joe M for their login initials. But today we'll just be doing Joe. We'll do J Mason. Also, as you can see, the user login name has a at email address or at domain there, while the user login name pre-Windows 2000 that's older has a Unibyte backslash J Mason. So because of Entra, which is a cloud-based platform, when you are logging on to Entra and you are syncing to a hybrid environment, this is why this is there. You'll need an email. But when you are logging onto, let's say, this workstation, this server, or you are logging onto a workstation, this is the format that you would use. Just JMason or the domain backslash your user. Let's do next. Let's set a password. We just set password. Uh-oh, I think I here is also the settings that are important to note. So if you are doing like a service account, for example, right? A service account, like I explained before, has different rules that govern it. Like you wouldn't if you have a service account, you wouldn't want to have the password to keep changing, or the password to be like the password to keep changing. So you would want to choose password never expires. So the service account can keep doing its thing without the password expiring. And if you want the user to change their password at the first logon, you would want to hit that. Also, the other thing you can do is disable that account. Let's say this person is, if your company is not automated yet, in the terms like their users are automatically created, in the first when they are first starting out, you would want to disable the account until the day they are starting, and then you can re-enable it, which I can show you how to do that next. Because this is a testing, we will, let's just disable account, and then next, finish. I think I was messing with password policies. All right, cool. So that user is created. So also, we need to remember that we hired Joe Mason to be a manager. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on Joe Mason. We're going to go to properties, and this will open a whole bunch of fun stuff that for you to look at. The first one, it will always open on general. Here is where you can keep all the fun stuff that refers to this person. Like if, let's say, we know that he is a YouTube manager. His office is located in um, his office is in DC. You could enter his phone number. I don't know, something. Anything else. If you want to, of course, your organization, HR, will have this information as well. Like if you want to put where he lives, what region, if your company is global, like this information you can fill out. Under account is where you will live a little bit more under account. So if you go under account, you can see that I can unlock this account. And some of the same options that I had when I was first creating it will also be here. So the account is disabled. Like if I want to, I can disable the account. Or I can just click here. This option will always be up top. And if the user has tried many times to log on to their computers, for example, and they're locked out, it will have a little message at the bottom that says why they were locked out, like the user has too many attempts, so forth and so on. But excuse. And also, on this as well, like if I want this person to change their password when they first log in on again, I can do that here. The other thing that you can do within here is to have login hours. Login hours are basically allowing people to log on at a certain amount of time, at a certain time window or time period. Let's say I don't want them to be able to log on Saturdays, on Sunday, Monday, Saturdays at anytime at 4 a.m. I can just deny them. So Saturday, blah, 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 Sunday through Saturday from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. denied. Same thing here. I can do the same thing, denied. From 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. That is useful in the case your company deals with sensitive data or they just don't want people to access their computers outside of office hours. When this is set, you cannot log in even through VPN. Like this will control access even through the VPN. So you are locked out of the network. Let's just hit OK. Also, you can set. We haven't set anything yet on the computer side because I don't have any computers or sitting around to import. I think I do actually. Just a VM. I lied to you, and I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to do that, but I just lied. I could import a VM into this for practice purposes, right? But and if you click on log on to, you can pick what computers they have access to, right? Like if you want everybody, like if you want this specific user, Joe Mason, to access all computers on their organization, just leave it at all computers. Most organizations will have all computers, but if for some reason you need this person to only use their specifically assigned computers, this is where you would do that at. I'm gonna hit OK. Also, you can change their domains. Because if your company has multiple domains, this is where you want to do that. Like say, for example, I decided I don't want to be a .com anymore. I am a .gov now for some reason. And I want to add it. You can come down here and change Joe Mason to .gov. Or if they got acquired by another company and you want to change that, you can do that. Profiles. Profiles are something completely different as well. Like most organizations have drives. Like I don't think I have anything mapped to mine yet. Okay. For example, I have this drive that's mapped to my computer. It's a B drive. See the little B? It's a B drive that is currently mapped on my server. Like if you want to, your organization will have different letters like B, C, B, G, whatever the heck they felt like that week. You can also have what's called a home directory, like a home drive. If your company decide they want to store all of the users' data on their own servers, like they don't want to use iCloud or they don't want to use Google Drive or OneDrive, they can store the users in what's called the home drive or home directory. And here you can have those drives here, like home folder, like it's a home folder. And every time the person log on the first log on, by policy under Active Directory, it will automatically map the home folder for them in File Explorer. It will always be there. And anything that they're doing, you can also have policy to automatically save or cache things into their home directory. If they download something, it could automatically save into their home directory. That way, your organization have access, greater level of access or control over it. Telephones, I don't need to explain that. Organizations, I don't need to explain that as well. Also, if when you go to Teams, sometimes if you've ever used Teams or like an org chart, when you see like, oh, this person, when you're looking at the pyramid scheme that is work, like you see, oh, this is your manager, this is his other manager, and then here's the people that report to him. Illuminati confirmed. That is so lame. As you can tell, I'm very tired. um, but anyways, in all seriousness, this is where you would do that. Let's say Joe Mason reported to Mario. Also the other trick is you don't need to type the person's entire government. If I put Mario and it exists, it'll bring up all the people that exist with the name Mario. Okay, this person reports to Mario. Like in the org chart, when you look at it, it will have Joe Mason underneath, and it will also be linked that Mario is Joe Mason's manager. I hope that's clear enough. Remote control is just what it sounds like. Like you can use RDP services to control the user. Like if they need help, they need assistance, you can just remote into and help them. Same thing here. I think we already went over this. Okay, here's the other portion where you will most likely live your entire life in. I should have explained that. Well, what I just did is I went to view and I did advanced features. As you can see, like a lot of things just came up. We'll explain that a little bit further. But anyways, when you do that, like some extra options are available to you when you enable advanced feature. Also, member of is where you manage those groups and those groups that you create to give access to people. So that's the groups that this person, Joe Mason, is a part of. That's the groups that this person, Joe Mason, is a part of. So we're going to go ahead and add Joe Mason to. I think I created it under users. I don't remember where I put that group underneath. But anyways, we're going to add this person under YouTube Manager. Okay, any policy that I create or make that is related to YouTube Manager will automatically be applied to Joe Mason. Let's do okay. All right. Of course, right now there is nothing in effect because I haven't created anything. But if I did create something, I don't know what this user is. Probably was messing around with some stuff. Sorry, I don't remember where I created this user underneath. Oh, look at that. I have one computer underneath here. Also, when it comes to computers, this is where you will have your computers, where you can import them at. Like, you also want to manage your computers differently. Just like users, you want to manage them by groups because you can have different policies for each different subcategories of computers. A desktop is not the same thing as a laptop. in the IT department, laptop is not the same thing as the regular people laptop. You can also have like, quite honestly, OUs. You can be as detailed as you want to be. It won't hurt you, especially if you are very nitpicky and you're really applying the principle of list privilege, or you really want to manage, um, you really want to manage your environment or manage these people and manage the policies. The executives, you would want to have them in a different area because their stuff is more sensitive. Anyways, and it's the same concept. Once you start working in any of these, it's the exact same concept. This will probably be more full for you, of course, because you. My bad, man. My bad. My bad, OG. A little tired. Um, yeah, same thing. Like you just wanna come here, create, add the name. I do have another computer that I could probably import, but I don't know if it's joined to the domain. Just for testing purposes. Let's try S Lab. Also, that's the other thing. Like name scheme. As you probably notice, like even in a test environment, all of my stuff is like schemed in a standardized way. Even as you practice, when you practice, you have to practice for the real thing. You're not just practicing for the games for like shits and giggles, right? S Lab, I think it's CA. And that's it. That's how you would import that in here. And you have some of the same options as a user. You have some of the same, of course, with some more. Like if you, oh, I guess I should explain Labs. Labs is also something that you would probably encounter either managed directly in Active Directory or managed through a passcode manager or managed by itself or managed through Entra. There's so many or. Basically what Labs does is it creates, it's for security purposes, a security product where it creates a local administrator password for you to log onto the computer. You don't want to use a single account, like one account that has access to everything, and it's the like super powerful account that does everything, right? You want to have each one of these computers will have a separate password that is always rotating, making it harder for people to guess. And you can set for when it expires, so forth and so on. You can copy the password here, show the password, so forth and so on. And you can configure this if your organization has it configured. This is where you would find it. Okay. Excuse me. I'm still trying to find that. I don't remember where I created it. Oh, it's under users. No. Okay. Let's find Joe. Oh, this is actually a pretty good example. On actual use case in the real world. Right now, I just disabled the advanced view. Like, I don't remember, and maybe my eyes is doing me injustice. I just found it. Test learning is where I created it. Let's say your environment is so chaotic, right? And I want to find Joe. Like, wow, look at that perfect example. I want to find Joe, and I just don't know where Joe is. Or like, I know you can come here, right click, go to find, and look for Joe, and all the Joes will be listed here, right? But I want to find where Joe is located. What OU? Like, I want to find, is he in Unibyte? Is he in Unibyte Elevated Admin? Is he in Test Learning? What you do is you want to click here, Advanced Features, Unibyte. You still want to find Joe, so you'll do Joe. Joe will come up. You do Properties, and we should have an extra tab, which is not currently showing. Sometimes it doesn't show right away. You have to do it again. Mm. Come on now, legs. Don't fail me now. There is an extra tab that is currently missing. That should show when you do when you enable advanced features under the users. I gotta make sure that it shows so I can show you. Like, if you go to, also when you go to object, it will show it to you. So I can tell you that Joe, from here, I can tell you exactly where Joe is located because he's located under the domain unibyte.com. He is under the Test Learning OU, which is somewhere Test Learning OU, and he is under YouTube. And his name is Joe, and I know that he's a user. There's also other things that you can do to this user. Like, if you want to stop this person from, let's say this person got promoted, right? And they're getting new access. Of course, you would want to go to member of and remove the manager from his role. The tab that I want to show you is still not showing. Okay. You can also just move him. Like, if you click move and he is no longer a Test Learning YouTube, or he moved to the Instagram team now instead of being on a YouTube team, you can add him to the Instagram team and click OK. And if we go back to Joe was moved. If we go back to object, Joe is now under Test Learning and he is under Instagram. But we want Joe to be in the YouTube team, so we're gonna move him back. Well, this is a lot longer than I wanted it to be. um, yeah. Let me follow my little notes, make sure we're still on track. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, you could come here and create as many users as you would like. We already went over users. We already went over you'll use printers. Same concept. If you want to map printers for users, I know from personal experience, companies are moving away from doing this. Like, they're using services like Printer Logic, or they're using Microsoft Print, because it's so much easier to manage. As you will learn, printers can be your worst enemy if you don't try to make them your best friend. A lot of people that you work with, they will hate printers, like, because printers are not easy to manage. No, 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 no. I personally fool myself every time to say, "Oh, I love working on printers," because that way I can think, when I see a printer problem, I try to raise my hand for it. That way I can be exposed more to it. Like, oh yeah, yeah, I love working on printers. Yeah, 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 yeah. That way, also, when other people shy away from it, I'm getting all that experience and expertise and exposure to the problems, even if I don't know the solution. Most of the time, you won't know the answer to the problem. Um, YouTube, and we can do the same concept again. User, uh, Jack. I don't know, Jack Low. So we'll do J, J Low. See what I did there? You see what I? All right, cool. Next, same thing. We set a password. Cool, cool, cool. And we want Jack Low to be. You can say all that fun stuff. This is the tab I wanted to show you. It finally showed up. Attribute editor. If you want to see attribute editor, you want to have and views advanced features enabled. We'll get back to attribute editor, but and member of, we know that we want Jack Low to be a Instagram manager. And even though we created, that's also the other thing. I spelled it incorrectly. So it'll get, if it doesn't, the user doesn't exist, or you spelled it incorrectly, it'll give you this error, like the name not found, like the object doesn't exist. But if it does exist, it will show up all the ones that do exist. Like we know we want this one to be Insta Manager. We hit OK, and we'll go to Attribute, apply the changes. Attribute Editor is so fun. It has so many stuff located here, and at a higher level, you will be messing with attributes a lot. Everything that you set, because this is a database, like I said at the beginning, because Active Directory is technically a database, everything will be located here in Attribute Editor. Everything that can be associated with this user will be here and can be managed here at the attribute level. Like as you can see, you can have, if the account expires, like I can change that here. If you know the code and how to do that, you can edit it. But the most likely place that you will probably be messing with is distinguish names. Like a lot of configurations that you will be working on or working with, like especially if it has any directory services that connects back to AD, it will likely require you to input your CNAME, the OU, the DC, and that's where you would find that. Like if you are working and it's requiring it for a specific user, it's requiring it for the entire domain, this is where you'd find it under Attribute Editor. Okay, let's hit OK. Let me see my little note real quick. This is a test lab. I don't know why, if that just crashed or what happened. All right, and yeah, that's basically the Active Directory up and down. Honestly, like for users and computers only portion. Besides that, everything will basically be you either creating a new user that's starting, or if the person is leaving the organization, for example, um, you would obviously want to come to the user, right click property, account, this person account, unlock. This account is currently online. So let's say this person is leaving. I know I have an OU here for da, da, da. I have one called quarantine, but you can have one for, I don't know, like offboarded employees. And after 90 days, that automatically deletes that person because sometimes you want to keep a little record. Maybe they're gone for a long time and you just want to disable their account, so forth and so on, and quarantine them for 90 days and blah 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 blah. First of all, you would want to disable their account. Once you disable this person's account, you'll see that little arrow show up. That person can no longer log on. You can also reset their password. You can also reset their password, which is a very common thing that you're going to get. Also, you can do password expirations for this user. Let's say, for example, Joe Mason is a contractor, and today is June 24th, and we know that Joe Mason is only here for a month. I can make sure that on August 24th, that his account automatically expires. And that is a form of automation. Like, I don't have to remember to go do that. Although you will likely know that this person is leaving, you can automatically set that account to expire. Also, very likely case that you get a password reset request. Oh, I forgot my password. I can log in. That's how you would do that. You would come to Joe Mason, right click, reset password. Anything else? Anything else? Okay. And I think that's it. Also, the other thing is, if you try to delete this OU, for example, by accident, to delete a user is very easy. Like, it's they're not protected. Let's say Joe Mason is a bum. We want to delete Joe Mason. Gone. Joe Mason is out of here. But if when it comes to an OU, because at the start, when we were creating this OU, we selected that we selected very specifically that we wanted this OU to be protected. So that's why OUs are not, you are not able to delete them. If you don't select, let's say for example, test learning, creating an OU, you don't select this, protect container from accidental deletion, you can just right click and delete it. Users also have that setting, but you have to, it's not selected automatically. Okay. Yeah, we'll be back for a commercial break. I need to get some water. I've been talking too much. Oh, take a little break. Or something. Sheesh. Let me get some water. I don't know where my water bottle is. Hopefully this is making sense. But Active Directory is like the most utilized tool in the org. Like, you can't escape it. It doesn't matter what level you're at, you will touch Active Directory. You can't escape it. Um, okay. I think that about covers everything that there is to know, or everything that I am currently remembering for Active Directory. We covered OU. We're not gonna cover group policies, but I will very quickly touch up on group policies. So this is group policy management. This is where you would want to create, when I would want to create, this is where you would create your policies that are linked to these different OUs that we discussed. And as you can see, it's pretty much a replication of Active Directory users and computers. You have your test learning, you have your other Unibytes, Instagram, YouTube, so forth and so on. Like, and if I have other GPOs, which is what those are called, group policy objects or group policy. If you have other policies that's already created, all you can do is just link them to existing GPOs. I don't have any yet, but if I wanted to create one, you could just create one. Let's just say YouTube GPO. And it would look just like this. And you can add a whole bunch of different things to this GPO, a lot of different things that it can do. Do you want it to be user level? Do you want it to be computer level? This can go very complex, and that's like a whole different video on its own, a whole different live on its own if I really want to break down how to utilize it. Every single thing that you can do on your computer can be managed on via GPOs. And if you can't, you can create it. Like literally, like there's so many options on things that you can do. We'll be here all night. Like and all these policies would apply only specifically to the group that you link it to. Let me see if I can find something that's a little bit more reasonable. Okay. Let's say I think that having users in the YouTube store use the Microsoft Store on their laptop is not safe. And for some reason, I don't want them to do that. All you gotta do is you find that GPO for the store, and then you apply it. And then that's it. That group, the YouTube group, will not be able to utilize the Microsoft Store once this GPO is applied. The other like quick thing that, let's say you're in a rush and the server takes time to synchronize the changes or any new policies. If you run CMD, like I come down here, look for CMD, and I run it as an administrator, you can run GP update /force, which is a good command to know. A lot of people would know it. Hit that, and then it will update all new policies. You would want to hit that on your DC and on the user's machine to update and download that policy to be effective right away. Especially if you're in a rush and in a hurry and you need to get that policy going right away. That's what you would do. And but anyways, we do not want that to happen, so we're just gonna delete that. La la la. I'm trying to think too if there's anything that's important that we haven't covered. Besides that, everything else is pretty much substandard. Now, if you go back to your server manager and trying to find the different roles, you'll notice that Active Directory has so many different other services. We'll jump to modules for PowerShell. Like I was mentioning earlier, a lot of things, man. A lot of things in the Windows environment is managed via PowerShell or can be reached via PowerShell. Like it's so powerful on the things that you can do. It mostly uses like a verb, like get, like what do I want to get? I want to get Active Directory users. How I wanted to filter. Uh, 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 randomly. And all the information, instead of like looking through this, like if I have a whole bunch of users and I am looking for something very specific and I want to list everybody, this is just an example. Like this will bring up PowerShell and you can execute command against Active Directory. You don't need to go that route. I went that route, but if you wanted to as well, you could have just did PowerShell here, right click, run as admin. And it would give you the exact same result. The exact same stuff. But that's what that module doer does. Very easy, very fast to cover. Domains and okay, let's do sites and services. Let's go in a little down up. Remember when I was covering and referring to if you get hacked or if your DC gets compromised and Active Directory get compromised. This is the location where you would want to come to replicate. Because it's a test environment, I did not currently have more than one domain or more than one DC. Like if your company or organization have more than one DC, it would be listed here. And this is where you would want to create Enter sites and Entra sites. Like if I have multiple DCs, it will all be listed here. Let's say, for example, I got ambitious and wanted to add an extra DC, DC2, for replication purposes. Like every so often, or whenever I set the policy to, for this entire Active Directory service to replicate everything, literally everything at a certain interval in case one is compromised. This is where this will be set up. Because I don't have one, just know that this exists and this is where it managed. I can't really show you too much of that. This is just a light coverage on that portion. Wow. My voice is hoarse. Domains and trusts. Same thing here. You will notice that now because of Entra and working on the cloud, this is not really it's still a thing, but it's not as much of a thing. Like let's say you have a company, like a sister company that you work with a lot, and you want to trust them for collaborative purposes. This is where you would want to manage that. This is where you would want to manage them and add them as a trusted or collaborative organization. Wow. You would want to come here and add them as a new trust. You would enter the domain and you'd enter, remember what I mentioned very specifically? Attribute editor. Like this is something that you would need from them. Like you would probably contact their IT team and ask them for their CNAME, their DC, and this is where they would get that information to pass it on to you. And whenever like the distinguished name, the DC, blah 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 blah, you plug that in, and you would create a trust, and then you'll be able to collaborate effectively as an organization with them. Because this is also like a lab environment, not too much I can display or show you on that end. Also, you would probably not be doing that as an entry level technician. That's, you would want that to go to your sys admins. But just for learning purposes, that is where that is managed. Um, that's the other thing that I could touch on. Uh, Forest. Also a very complicated topic. Also, you would not be managing the forest for your organization, right? But if you were, like, let's say for example, I wanted to change my root domain, and I wanted to change it to something like youtube.unibyte.com. Like, this is where I would do that. Like, or if I change, the company got bought up, and I am changing the my whole entire stuff to youtube.com. That's where I would want to go and do that as well. All right. Not too much to cover that on an entry level. So we're just going to go back to tools. And this is the last portion. Admin Center. I mean, just like what it sounds like, it's an administrative center for Active Directory. This has a lot of features. A lot of stuff that you can do in Active Directory computer users and computers, you can do in the admin center as well. Like, I can look for a user here as well. I can change their password. I can still select the same thing like I can do in Active Directory, for example. Um, uh, this user Mario, like if I wanted to make any changes to him, I can have it done here as well. But also, in Admin Center, you have access to do a lot of things. Also, this is also a sysadmin function as well. You would probably not be dealing a lot with this because the implications of the things that you can do in here are org wide. Oh man, my voice is starting to become really hoarse. The other thing is where what you can do in here is enable the recycle bin. That user we just deleted, like let's say I want to recover that user, I can enable the recycle bin and go recover that user just so you can enable, but it's not enabled by default. So that's there. Like I was saying, all the same stuff are being managed here. And this is probably like a simpler view of your environment if you have multiple domains. Like if you are managing Unibyte.local, YouTube.local, Instagram local. Like this will be easier for you to manage just to click on and have a more, I don't want to say holistic, but you have a easier manage view of it. Instead of like, using computers, it will literally be like this and then the other one right underneath it. And it will just be everywhere. I personally prefer to use this, especially when there's a lot of more than one domain in that environment. I find it a lot easier. And it's the exact same thing as well. You can create, you can view the properties, change, um, see attribute editor, and do all of that stuff, man. Okay, I mean, it's just me, myself, and I. I don't have any question. Do you have any question? I don't have any question. So I think we'll just call it for now. I think that was a very good in-depth look into it. Of course, I wanted to go deeper into authentication like Kerberos, but that's not needed. That's not necessary for this overview. I did touch on some security best practices. Oh, I guess Entra. Um, Microsoft Entra is the exact same thing. Like it's quite literally the exact same thing, but on the cloud. You can download and have Microsoft Entra Connect. Entra Connect is basically wow. Okay. Entra Connect is basically a service that connects back to your environment. It connects back to your on-prem environment, and then it syncs it to the cloud. That's basically what it does. So if I create a user on on-prem or on my local server, it will sync it up to Microsoft Entra. And or you can have a fully cloud environment and manage your entire user base on Entra. This used to be called AAD or Azure Active Directory, but now it's completely called Microsoft Entra. You can also have groups in the same manner. Like if everything that you do, always remember like it's easier to manage them in groups. But this is just a light overview. On your end, mostly what you'll be doing, like again, like this is the target audience is, entry level. You would probably be resetting password on here, adding a new user. But this side is a lot easier, self-explanatory. Create a new user, edit, delete. You know, so yeah, I think I've spoken myself to exhaustion. I'm joking, but wow. Okay. I don't have anything else to share or any more value to add. So I think right now I'm just gonna chit chat until I hit like maybe 2 hour. I don't know, man. Like I want to know what to cover. Like I think that's the pursuit that I'm on right now as well. Like I don't know I think even with the YouTube stuff, I don't know what people want to see. And it's a hard guess. Like I be at work thinking about what people want to see, and I honestly don't know. Um, and I don't even like care for the one that gets the most engagement, but like topics that people are genuinely interested in and that I have knowledge on that I can be insightful on. Um, and I don't know what those are. I mean, of course, I think these like content on Active Directory is evergreen. New people will always be coming in into IT, and new people always want to. Uh, New people always want to, learn about it. So that's why we're covering it. But my channel is not mostly about IT. It's also about tech. I mean, it's also about finance. Like, I'm very into I'm into the fintech industry or the fintech side. So I want to start touching more on my finance side, but I don't know what to cover exactly quite yet. So that's in the works. Or I'm looking into it. Excuse me. Like, I mean, also I could talk about like security news, security updates, but I feel like that's so boring. Like, it's interesting for the people who are working in security, but if I want to have a broader appeal, especially like to younger people getting into IT, those things are boring and like nobody's gonna watch that, bruh. Nobody want to watch you talk about security. Even this, like, unless somebody is like looking for a job or looking to switch careers, nobody want to watch this. like I know it's boring, bro. Like I know it's boring. You ain't gotta tell me. Like I know it's boring. Like which is why I always encourage people to put their hands in the pot, like get hands-on experience. Because watching this, like you probably just put it in the background while you're doing whatever X, Y, and Z. Like you're not really. Of course, I think watching it over and over and over and over, if you have that patience of watching it two, three, four times, of course it's gonna click in. Like just visually seeing it. Like if you're preparing for an interview and you wanna be, get a quick refresher, sure. But like I think hands on, you can beat your you do actually doing it. It clicks faster. Um, yeah, man. But anyways, I think I'm done. Ugh. I did my part. Um, yeah, I guess the networking hour thing is gonna come up. I didn't expect nobody to be there. It's just gonna be me talking and yapping for maybe 30 minutes because nobody else is gonna show up. But I think over time, people will start showing up. People will start noticing. They were just, I think most of the time, especially on YouTube, social media in general, people want to know how invested you are before they invest. I know, I am for sure. Like, especially like small channels. Like, I like to support the smaller channels. Like, as far as the subscribing or liking more. But sometimes it's so hard, like for smaller channels, if you have a job and you have family, to keep uploading and keep the pace of doing videos. So I get it. So I gotta, see how bought in they are, how serious they are before, doing the subscription thing. Yeah. Also, I don't know how much in love I am with asking people to subscribe to my channel for real. Like, hey, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. Like, subscribe if you want to, bro. Like, I'm not about to force you to do anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate it. Of course, I want to grow the channel and spread the message, but I'm not about to beg you to subscribe. If this is valuable to you, and in response to share value back or to say thank you, you subscribe. But otherwise, if you don't feel like it's like what is this guy talking about, like don't subscribe. Like it's not gonna like you take the value, you run with it. That's cool with me as well because I'm just doing it because I want to do it. I'm not doing it because I want you to subscribe. Like so. Anyways, I'm done talking for tonight. That's a lie. I'm not done talking. I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah. I'm trying to think about if everything else interesting coming up, which I don't. All right. Make sure y'all put your hands on practice going on. Keep practicing. Keep getting better. Keep being productive.